Hello, my fellow peasants. How you doing? I'm over here, Rosie. It's coming in from beautiful Australia, Pez, in this gorgeous spot looking after these massive, giant hounds. These Great Danes. There's old Billy Bill. Look at the size of them. I've been with them for like a week and a half. It still blows my mind. But yeah, this is such a gorgeous spot, and I am one stream away from the Rebirth ending. So 3 months after release, 42 streams and 160-ish hours later, I'm finishing Rebirth tomorrow. Yo guys, you gotta sign on in. Everyone hither and dither from all corners of the world. If you're at work, cancel it, call in sick, whatever's required. Phone in emergencies, dial in favours, whatever it takes to be at the stream tomorrow. I want you all guys with me. But I wanted to hop on here before that grand finale and just riff my thoughts for Rebirth so far, because I know after tomorrow what 16 taught me is an ending is a super freaking powerful thing, and it could just change, it can just transmute and like rapidly 180 and shift what you're thinking and feeling about a game, like just at the drop of a hat. I wish it weren't that strong and that was the case, but it is, and 16 taught me that. So yeah, I'm halfway through the Temple of Ancients, so tomorrow I'm going to be finishing it, and I'll just say on just even this little part that I'm leading into the ending, oh, it's so nice that it feels like Square Enix are taking their time. This feels like a final dungeon that is actually fleshed out and has a good pacing on it. And I just did the trials with the characters, and yeah, all of them were unique, nuanced. There was something either thought-provoking or completely brand new and fresh that added some new dimension to the story, or certainly to the characters, and it was just lit. It was just lit. And when I just compared that to like the internal Clive trial we had in 16, or the way that even like Noctis in 15, it's just this is really standing out so far as a super satisfying beginning to an ending, and I just hope it can follow through. God, I hope it can follow through. But yeah, I know I'm super biased and a fanboy when I say this, but yeah, I think this may be one of, not the, but one of the best games I have played in a decade, man. Holy shit, Rebirth is such a solid game. And I'm trying my best to like look at it from a, all right, you're super obsessed with these characters. Oh, hello, pretty. You know you're super obsessed with these characters. You know that you've been wanting and anticipating and covering Remake and Rebirth for such a long time that, I have rose-tinted goggles on. And I want to like it. I want to love it. But just looking outside of that, it's like, no, this is one of the best combat systems we've had in a while. It's super strategic, but the pacing is sick. The battle mechanics, the configurations that you can mix and match, and now with the configuration of teams and characters, and how that all synergizes and combos up, as well as some of the trials and challenges, like it's beautifully walking a line of difficult enough. There's something that 16 was lacking. 15 got super repetitive with certain combat elements, just singularly being through Noctis. I know they fixed that. I keep talking about 16 and 15 because, they were the last Final Fantasies, and I think it's natural to compare it to those. And the quality of combat and gameplay mechanic for Rebirth is leagues above. And that's not even beginning to talk about world building. The world building, but it's not really open world, Pez. I don't give a fuck. Describe it as XXXL wide, linear, whatever you want. This world is a joy to go through. It's rich, it's beautiful, it's varied, it's expansive. You get the feeling of freedom. The pro relics have been lit, and it's all the fresh, different gameplay styles that are coming in. Whether it's mini games or these different quirky, zany little like quests. We're bringing all these different like mechanics, becoming a toad, or even pulling a fucking can on a string and a chicken trying to charge it down. Whether it's the squats, all the proto relic stuff. You know, I thought the Fort Condor board game, like little jig with Gilgamesh, was just lit. That's the only criticism I really have. I have a few criticisms. It's not, by no means the only one. But the biggest one, more Fort Condor, man. But even the ones that were like sucked. That's the thing. What I feel like I've experienced with Rebirth is I'm finding ways to have joy with things even when they're kind of a bit shit. So a good example of that is the battle bots. And the little battle bot proto relics, send them in, you know, just do the little elements. Even that I ended up addicted to. I ended up doing like a 5-hour stream. You know, the tempering trials are just done. Oh, pairs come back to them later. Oh, you should do them when you're level 70. Oh, they're not really that hard. Why are you struggling? Use this strategy just to instantly cheat through it. Nah, man. I am playing this game my way. I did it my way, and I fucking love this game. Even like the ending that I'm at now, you know, deciding not to heal, like the Turk fights, or the dragon that we just fought. It just makes the fight so intense and so juicy and so succulent. Man, I've had so much fun. Basically, I'm rambling. This is a very long-winded way to say I have had more fun and more childlike joy and engagement with Rebirth I have in a real long time. The types of feelings that this invoked in me, like, yeah, raw fun is one of them. Excitement, anticipation, straight up emotions. I've laughed, I've cried. I've got to say, of all the emotional ranges in Rebirth, I think humour is like the strongest one, right? Square Enix really let it rip on the sense of humour, way more. The wackiness, the zaniness, and the level of comedy relief. Like the hardest fights in this game are, you know, with Gilgamesh. The number of times it even breaks intense moments with comedy, like self-aware humour. I mean, one of the proto-relic finales was going to a dimension and Gilgamesh was just taking a shit. The girl's doing choreography. Like, the humour has just been... It's been on there. And if anything, it's been too much at some points. But even then, maybe this is just the way I'm playing it now. I'm finding to love things that I would actually be really disappointed by. So the prime example is they got humorous. They decided to make the entire section comedy. The Nibelheim Mansion. You decided to have Kate Sith with his theme be the one that escorts us through that. Breaking crates, loading them onto fucking elevators. Nibelheim Mansion, where the nightmare begins. One of the most intense, sinister, like thematically foreboding like areas of the game. You had Kate Sith. It's fucking crazy. And even as it was happening, I was going through and I was like, Square, you're absolutely nuts. What kind of choice is this? This is the dumbest choice. And yet, you know, while I'm doing it, I'm loving it. Because it's variety, it's different. Like, I've got myself into this groove where nothing that the Rebirth does, these dogs are going all over the place. Nothing is becoming a subtraction from what OG did. Like, I think this is a really powerful place to be with it. You know, if there's something in OG that you prefer, keep that in your mind. You know, same with like Dane's section. If you didn't like how they did Dane's section this time, or you're not liking how they're doing the romance of the shipping situation, or you didn't like how the Golden Saucer stuff played out, you know, you preferred it in OG, cool, run it in OG. The way I'm seeing it is just like Rebirth is offering up a different take, a different twist, you know? Like Naniki section, for example, I preferred the Naniki section in OG. I preferred the more mournful Cosmo Canyon song with the crystal tear and the mournful howl, you know? Rebirth decided to go empowering, emboldened. I am Naniki, you know, watcher of Cosmo Canyon. Rah! You know? Different. Sweet, pick and choose, you know? It's These guys follow me around all day. I knew I wouldn't catch a break. And they'll be back. They'll be back. Now, I'm going to be here for another couple weeks. I'm over to New Zealand. Finishing it tomorrow. Yay! But yeah, like when I go through my overall experience of Rebirth, it really has like the core areas. So besides gameplay and the variety and the areas that have felt like questionable to me, and I don't know if I like them, but I'm still actually super enjoying it, even those questionable areas. Like, I just feel like I have this like superpower right now for enjoying this, being kind of immune even to the areas where they kind of fuck it up a little bit. But getting to the parts that I really hoped for. So they've kind of hit every single beat. The FF10 like 7 Connect, that was Yuna really Yuna Aerith really tapping into what the full extent of her power is, the like goddess Aerith stuff, the Omni Aerith stuff, that all flitting and weaving in there. Great, nice one. Good one, Rosie. Jesus, she's just kicked out the... Oh, not only has she just kicked it out, she just snapped the leg off my stand because it was wedged under... Rosie! God damn it. I'm going to have to hold this now. Damn it, hound. It's got to follow me. I've been mentally riffing that in theory crafting. That's getting weaved in. I was weaving like Sephiroth's POV of like what is death and the soul and the planet and its corruption and the whole bound but to her theme and the morality of the live stream and the ethos of the live stream as it stands and where it might be morally not this all perfect thing. That got introduced numerous places now. Cetra stuff just got weaved in, even with the Queen's blood and the Shadow Blood Queen. Little story that's going on. Love that. Tifa's glow up. Tifa diving in the live stream. I will admit, I've wanted more stuff on Zack, but even that. Yeah. See if I can chill here for a sec without the dogs attacking. Yeah, I wish I got more Zack stuff. It's been pretty elusive. His stuff is very curious with Biggs. And it's all very stimulating. But yeah, everything with the spirit worlds, that's kind of getting teased up very nicely, following it all very, very tightly. Yeah, one of the clones, for example, not only was I getting all this like cool Norse interpretation from the weapons that we just got in the Temple of the Ancients. Aerith's staff, for example, connects to a Norse poetic Edda about I will strike thee, maiden, and destroy ye, make thy will mine own. That was the staff that Aerith just got. You can imagine it's what Sephiroth is going to do to her. There's a lot of other weaves and influences with the other weapons as well that were really cool. But for example, with the Kabbalah stuff and the 5 worlds of the Kabbalah, we saw clone number 9. No, not 9. 6. Broden, that was it. We saw Broden and that he had tattoo number 6. Now in the Kabbalah, in the world of Yetzirah, which is after the Flaying of the Soul event, in the Kabbalah, the Flaying of the Soul is the 3rd world, Bariah. It's called the Creation World, Edge of Creation, Flower in the Cosmos. So they've just built up very nicely with Ever Crisis. Young Sephiroth having that emotional scene and then looking up at that flower in the cosmos. Yeah, in the Kabbalah, that creation level is where the flowering of the soul begins. And then you go to world number 4, Yetzirah. And the prime number for Yetzirah is number 6. And this is where, more or less all the themes of rebirth occur in the Kabbalah. 6 layers of dimensionality merging, or the 6 Sephiroths merging, the 6 ones that got broken. The Harbinger flashed 6 times, and more or less I can't remember off the top of my head, but the main element for this, like numerology of 6 and yet 0, all the worlds are associated with an element: fire, earth, wind. The other one, number 6 is, and yet 0 is water. Then you have Broden show up, during that Nibelheim proto-relic, and introduced certain thought-provoking themes. And then they're like, oh wait, where are they going? And he's walking into the water. And he's trying to cross the water. The wind creeps silently across the water. I am making no sense in this review whatsoever, and I'm fully fucking aware of that. Yes. My head cannons during Rebirth have just been getting fired off left, right, centre. And now I'm a mush, and I can't wait to finish and basically catch up. All these concepts are like, Sephiroth, is he here to try to create an afterlife in his own fucked up kind of way? Is he actually trying to save the world? And that theme of saving, help me, Cloud, lend me your strength, let's save it, the world's dying. What Cloud said to Kate Sith, yeah, in his own way, he is trying to save it. Isn't he a good guy? We know it's the methodology. What we've just had Aerith say, I was talking about how the flowering of the soul, and Yogacara, which Nobujima, the senses, that we're trapped in suffering because we don't master the 8 forms of consciousness. 6 of them are the 6 senses. And then 7th is unconscious mind. And the 8th is the true self. The themes of enlightenment and Bushido code that's always weaved in 7, how that's been incorporated. Dojima said, yeah, Yogacara is one of them. And just as I learned that tidbit, I go to Cosmo Canyon, and there you have Bugenhagen, the old bitch, being narrow-minded, and then kind of realizes he's narrow-minded because he poo-hoos Tifa's live stream experience and says, I am too old. May you continue with the eyes that can see, flash on the eyes, ears that can hear, flash on the ears. Boom, the senses, the trappings of the senses, and how they can limit us. So 7 Rebirth is so beautifully and masterfully and thought-provokingly crafted, and that's what I could not hope for more of, man. Is that there's so much to dive into. There's richness to it, and this is what OG had, and that's why all of the more superficial stuff about whether that line was delivered as good, or whether Dean going out via suicide versus death by Shinra was as good, like those are superficial things. They really are. They're just like the surface elements that I can honestly, some of them are wins, some of them are W's, some of those are L's. And it's just crazy to me that there's so many people out there that claim to love 7, to claim to love it so much, and then they come into this fucking game and their gripes are on these bullshitty things like, the pacing of Tifa or Clouds, or whether Cloud should be with Aerith, and all this hyperfixation on the fucking shipping war stuff, or whether or not we should have been forced to play a card game in an action game. I have to play Queen's Blood. Fucking 6 out of 10. Y'all really don't love FF7, in my opinion. I mean, you do, because you're entitled to love it in whichever way you love it. Just the way that I see it is just, fuck man, you love it for such pathetic, small-minded reasons. Because 7 is a beautifully crafted masterpiece that has so many influences and ideas going into it. Yeah, like the planet, the morality of protesting, violent protest movements, uprisings, fighting back against corruption, corporate greed, themes of war. They go on endlessly. But then the deep ones that even 7 itself just creates. Going back to that part about Sephiroth and his POV of what's really cool is Cloud keeps embodying and slipping into Sephiroth, And now he's saying this whole, oh, it's not death, it's a homecoming. Even that was an entire podcast that me and Bree did before Rebirth came out. I did an entire video. Is Sephiroth the good guy? Talking about what is, in a world of soul, what is the moral implications of something such as death or killing? Or, you know, because this was what 14 presented. It's even a little bit of what 15 and 16 very briefly touched on. But in a world where there's soul or afterlife or these metaphysical elements, is death really as final and immoral to bring about? If it is to be saving a soul or the soul of the world. What if Sephiroth is trying to save the world? What does killing them and taking them to a bright, shining new star really look like? And how's that any different to what the planet tried to do with Omega? Is that actually covering these points in a thought-provoking way? Aerith just kicking back and saying, you know, that she doesn't believe it's suffering that makes people stronger. You know, Sephiroth talking about the process of suffering being the thing that will make you more powerful. That this is the fire that all souls should be tempered and forged in. And her switching it to, no, it's forgiveness. It's not suffering. And my thought-provoking, like, how thought-provoking that was. Because not only was it like Advent Children, Cloud saying, I want forgiveness. Everything from who? But even just the forgiveness that she actually demonstrated. I just got thinking about that a moment ago earlier. Like, Sephiroth freaking stabbed her, killed her, ripped her away, and tormented all the people that she loves. Yet, Goddess Omni Aerith accepted Kadaj, the manifestation of Sephiroth's most narcissistic side, arguably the worst, most malignant, evil, if you want to say it, part of him. That's what Kadaj was a manifestation of. She accepted him lovingly into the live stream. Aerith forgave and accepted Sephiroth's worst side. And to see the symbology of that, how thematically deep and poignant that is, and to see that coming in just these little lines. Just like Aerith's song, and we just had the Loveless song about people being reunited, being with loved ones forevermore. How that touches perfectly on what the Promised Land is supposed to be, a place where people are reunited. I was like, well, what's the morality of that? The live stream doesn't give everyone an afterlife. It actually picks and chooses who it allows to stay around versus who gets dissolved into it and turned into amorphous live stream goo, bereft of any spiritual actual identity, which is kind of existential annihilation. What gives the live stream the right to make that choice? What about all the souls that have sided with Sephiroth, the Black Whispers? Many who travels through the planet implies that they've willingly chosen that. Well, why would they choose that? Well, because some people want to live forevermore. Well, they want to have an afterlife. It's kind of a natural, normal thing. Sephiroth isn't the only person who wants that. You know? And the planet just getting to choose that seems pretty messed up. And then they bring in the G-Tribe stuff, which presents that exact moral quandary. Oh, here we had some extraterrestrial refugees, and the live stream rejected them. All right, I just run out of memory. I better wrap this up. So basically, this is this place I'm at. All right, I'm in this very incoherent, submerged. I'm deep in balancing and juggling and being like really surprised and taken back and happy and proud and excited. And just really invigorated that all the things that I've been, all these different themes and areas I've been touching on, pointing fingers towards, like, they're showing up. And everything that I was theorizing, like, I'm still getting surprised, and things are coming out of the left wing that I weren't expecting to be touched on. But then there's a lot that is. And so it's just left me in a place which has been really, really happy, basically, at this point. And yeah, I'm not going to place everything on the ending that I'm about to experience tomorrow. A good part will, because Low battery. Oh, okay, we're okay. A good part will, because we have to wait 3 freaking years until the next part. But I also got to remember, this is not the ending. I think Bree said it, but a lot of people online are kind of forgetting that this really is just end of disc 2. And it's weird. Some people are saying, oh, they should have just ended it here and made a proper concrete finish. Basically, I'm hearing all kinds of weird stuff. I can't wait to finish this tomorrow so I can finally look on the internet and see all these like weird, bizarre takes that Bree's been like suggesting at me, on top of the nonsensical shipping war stuff. But more excitingly, to dive into all the theory juice and really piece together. I can't wait to do post-game theories. I can't wait to engage the tinfoil hat. Piece together all of these succulent little puzzle pieces and piece it all together into one big picture of puzzly perfection. And I still keep hearing that Rebirth isn't selling well, and that I've said it before, but I am neither bothered by that in the goddamn slightest, because I am loving it, and this has hit the note for me. And a game that, I don't give myself enough credit. In fact, I think a lot of us fanboys seem to put ourselves down for being really like head over heels happy and in love and engaged with Rebirth, because we know we're shameless fanboys with it. And girls, shameless fanboys and girls. But at the same time, that's why I know that if they were fucking this royally up, that we would also be the first people to be like deeply pissed and peeved off. I've wanted this, and I've thought about this remake and the beats and the stories and the places that I want to be like honoured and included and touched on and mentioned and built up. And if they were missing all of those, I would not be feeling the way I am now. And I know that a lot of you guys also feel the same. So basically, I'm wearing it with pride, and I really hope that the ending tomorrow gives me a reason to continue this. That I'm repping hard that this is a obviously not perfect game. Obviously there were areas where Square Enix made some pretty funky choices, and there could have been better ones. 100%. There are so many areas and beats in the story where I'm like, fuck man, you missed a trick on that. Yo, you could have included that. Take that further. Kate Sith should not have been leading that section. There's plenty of ones like that. But by and large, they're nailing it, man. They are nailing it. And I'm not going to be coy in repping how happy I am with this game, because there are some of these fucking weird ass Puritan elitists within this fan base that feel like it's okay. I haven't even finished the game, and I'd be getting comment sections of people coming in heavy-footed and basically telling me why I can't be in love with this game, why I can't be thinking that this is one of the most fucking phenomenal projects that Square Enix have pulled off in best part of a decade, that this has felt more like an RPG and a high fantasy game in Final fucking Fantasy, ditching off all of this ultra realism and everything needs to conform to reality. You know what? If you want to add something, a plot element, or girls doing choreography, or Red doing bloody moonwalking and Michael Jackson moves, we'll fucking do it, because it's a high fantasy game. And with all the elements that have come back, I felt like has been more of a return to the series than anything I keep saying in a decade. Also, honestly, longer than a decade, maybe even 2 decades. And that's something to be celebrated and to be yelled from the rooftops, and all those motherfuckers who come at him just be trying to crush joy and put it down and tell others why our takes are wrong and that we need to not be as happy with it. Fuck that. I love it. This is great. Goddamn, I hope my tone doesn't change tomorrow. I'm so scared. And just very quickly before I sign out, what do I think is coming tomorrow? I mean, fuck, dudes. Obviously, if my Kabbalah stuff is kind of correct, or just my framework of spiritual worlds, spiritual vessels, spiritual dimensions is correct, and we're going to go into number 5, I expect some pretty big event that's either going to collapse, tear, merge, explode up, split, I don't fucking know, like something fundamentally on the entire world scale. And in that process, shit man, whether it's going to be going over and reuniting with Zach, whether it's going to be Zach and Cloud doing a thing, whether it's going to be Cloud going full Sephiroth, because that shit be happening, whether we're going to be going like hardcore Tifa Enlightenment glow up, like she's going to summon Flippy, which is what I'm calling the baby weapons now, like someone's Flippy and she just goes riding in on fucking Flippy, just she's fucking like dolphin slapping the shit out of Genova. I don't know, is Roche gonna show up? Where's Roche? What's happening with Roche? Are we gonna be fighting Shadow Cloud? I don't fucking know. Anything could happen. And I'm excited for it. Oh, I'm very excited for it. I don't know. I'm not thinking about it too much. If I start thinking about what could be coming tomorrow, I'll get bogged down. But yeah, I mean, I'm anticipating something dimensional and world-changing. And I also expect some pretty strong red herrings, misdirects, trickery, falsehood. You know, this has been something that's always caught people off guard with 7. It is a deeply like psychologically twisting game that uses like very core things in very fluid metaphysical ways, things like memories, unreliable narrator syndrome. You can call it a syndrome. The dog just fell down the stairs. You all right, Rosie? I saw that. Oh, she's embarrassed. Yeah, you know when a dog's embarrassed, because it. Right, and now Billy's attacking her for it. You fell down the stairs. No. Worthy of mockery. So I expect something in that department that's gonna like throw us off, be a deception, you know, that's weaved into the story on just a fundamental level before you even start including the fact that both Sephiroth and Genova, they have a bit of a penchant for trickery and illusion and deception. So I'm expecting a big play from them as well. Yeah. So those are my thoughts, because Square are gonna want to leave us like talking and speculating and arguing about what was real, what wasn't real, or what happened, or what's going to happen going forward. So I'm going to be having my spidey senses like a tingling, and that's the thing, the spidey senses are something that you got to have honed, you got to have sharpened, you got to have consumed a lot of 7 content and really know that when it comes to this product, the approach that Square Enix have. I said this, like there's a lot of people whose radar with it are just completely off, and the things that are like obvious deceptions or things that are in the wheelhouse of the way that Square Enix write this and approach this product, like there's markers, there's traits, there's characteristics of Najima, Kitase and Nomura, now Hamaguchi, that if you get a real sense of that, you can reverse engineer a lot of the areas that they take, and what is a deceit and what is a tee up, what is a setup. And that's why, as I've been following this product, while I've not been exact and on point, is always hitting rough ballpark areas. I'm like, bam, nice, there it is. That's what I was looking for an answer on. Yo, there it is. That's how I've been feeling throughout it. And it's nice, that sort of consistency shows me that that's why I feel this love for 7 Rebirth right now, because it does have that consistency, that it fits in narrative and theme and world-wise with how the entire compilation has been. I think that was the biggest concern for a lot of people, that with the whole Zack being alive or Wedge being alive, Terrier timeline, Stamp timeline, that they were bringing it in and introducing brand new elements that was going to collapse the core fundamentals of what 7 was. Like, this was a new introduction, that was a departure from those core beats and like storytelling mechanics. That's what a lot of people thought. And truth be told, they just weren't looking at what those timeline things really were, and you know, everything else that started branching off of that as a result. And it's like, once you look at it from the correct lens, suddenly it all makes sense. And yeah, I don't know, after I finish this tomorrow, I'm going to be eating my words, if more's going to make sense or less, I don't know. I'll bloody see you tomorrow, guys. It'll probably be like evening EST, 9:10 EST. I always do it like 9:10 here in Australia time, so you can work that out wherever you are in the world. I hope to see you there, guys. But yeah, until tomorrow. Go home.